Okay. Speaking of attractive women, there was recently a girl on TikTok who was in the gym and she did a TikTok about how there's this creepy guy who was always looking at me and he offered to help her at one point and it was really innocuous. In my opinion, he wasn't being a creep or anything like that. And I couldn't tell that he was leering at her or anything like that. It just seemed like a guy who was kind of in her vicinity at the gym and maybe looking roughly in her direction, which is like, well, there are only so many directions to look in. So, and also, you are an attractive woman. So what if somebody's kind of looking in your direction? Is that the
Or
end of the
even just
world?
looking at you.
Right. Is that the end of the world? I don't think it is. So she made this TikTok, tried to play the victim, but in one of the surprise turns of the internet, she failed. People actually didn't give her what she wanted. They didn't say, oh, poor you, you're the victim. Well, most people didn't. Most people said, you're kind of an asshole. You're totally blowing this out of proportion. And we're not sensing this guy as being a creep. He seems to be acting very normally at the gym. You are just full of yourself, or you want to make more out of this so that you can get attention and sympathy, and you're just you're kind of a bad person. That's what happened to her. So I'm pleasantly surprised. Oftentimes the internet sides with the woman who's complaining or blowing things out of proportion. But I think the tide is turning a little bit because I've seen recently that these things don't really turn out well for them.
Mm. So,
She even went so far as to make an apology.
yeah, I saw that on the Lauren Chen
Uh,
coverage.
Although her first apology was kind of a non-apology, but then she actually apologized. So it's fine. I don't think there's no reason to harass this girl or anything like that. Does she have an inflated ego and she's full of herself and thinks that everybody must be lusting after her and, oh, I'm a victim too. Yeah, she's totally all of the above. But I I think it's common these days though. I think a lot of people
I
are like this.
Man, I feel like it's a kind of a horror story because it's like imagine going out with somebody who's essentially, I mean, can you imagine being this person's like, I don't know, parent or something? She's probably doesn't listen to her parents, but she will listen to what the internet says on her social media account. She's literally being raised by the internet.
If the
And
internet tells her she's bad, then she's bad.
yeah, and I just can't imagine having to deal with somebody like that. And I bet this is very common.
Well, at least she was smacked down by the internet. At least. This raises the bigger question, though. Like a lot of the reaction to it, and many of these people reacting and criticizing were women. They raised, I think, a fair point of, hey, look at how women are dressing when they go to the gym. They dress very sexy. It's like, and you're gonna get attention. Why are you not dressed more modestly if you don't want any eyes on you? And then they'll just trot out that told it doesn't matter how I dress. I don't deserve to be. Well, it used to be I don't deserve to be assaulted just because of the way I dress. And I agree with that. Of course, that's I think
That seems very fair.
obviously true,
Yeah.
right? But to say that I don't deserve to be looked at more often when I'm no matter how I'm dressed, I'm sorry, I don't think that's reasonable because it's almost involuntary that people will look at you more often if you are a bunch of things. If you're more attractive, if you dress sexier, if you're a famous person, if you're 7 feet tall, if you're wearing a stupid costume, all of these things will cause people to reflexively look at you more often. And I don't think it's fair for you to then turn around and say, "Hey, you're the bad guy here. No matter how I dress, I don't deserve to be looked at more often than otherwise I would have." No, I don't. I don't think you are correct. You deserve to be looked at more often because you're different. The end. I think this is no different than you being like a 7 foot tall person and walking around. Do they deserve it just because you're 7 feet tall? No, of course they don't deserve to be made to feel uncomfortable, but people are just naturally going to look at you more. There's a gigantically tall person over there, right?
Doesn't doesn't this feel like they just want to have their cake and eat it too? I mean, it's like they're already, life is already being handed to them on a platter. And they're
Right.
saying, in addition to these privileges, I demand that you not look at me when I don't want you to.
Yes, it falls into that category of when people don't have real problems, they need to create problems. I think that applies to super attractive women in the West who, let's be real, have it really good. Everybody likes them. Like their first impression on everybody is amazing. They have so many opportunities to make money. And I'm not just talking about OnlyFans or whatever. Go see how successful attractive women are in real estate. Okay. So they have everything going for them. Life is generally really good. So they have to create strife. They have to create struggle. They have to pretend. And this goes in a macro sense too. Because America's so rich and comfortable and well off, we have to create problems where none existed before, right? If we were mired in World War II, we wouldn't think that pronouns are a big deal and we need to fight over them. We'd be thinking about fighting the Germans, right? So when we don't have real problems, we have to create them. And that's what she's doing. Here's an opportunity for her to be righteous. Here's an opportunity for her to conquer something that's in front of her. Sexism, guys staring at her at the gym, patriarchy, whatever, all of this stuff. But a lot of it is imagined. And I think it stems from a very logical and needed human impulse to struggle. I don't think human beings are built to just sit around and be lazy and do absolutely nothing. I think some people can do it, but you'll find that those people get depressed. You'll find that they don't have fulfilling lives. They have to struggle against something. They have to try to achieve. They have to work at stuff. It doesn't mean they have to have a job necessarily, but they have to be, even in their hobby, it needs to challenge them. They need to strive and they need to be better than they were yesterday. That's kind of the natural human impulse. And when your life is just too comfortable, like it is for a super hot woman in the West, you have to create those struggles.